You've done the work, haven't you? Years of it. You've journeyed through the labyrinth of your past, excavated the buried fragments of forgotten pain, and confronted the ghosts that haunted your waking hours. You've sat in the quiet crucible of meditation, listening to the whispers of your soul. You've journaled until your fingers cramped, filling countless pages with the raw, unfiltered truth of your inner world. You've practiced affirmations, set boundaries, sought therapy, and immersed yourself in spiritual teachings that promise liberation. And yet, a whisper, sometimes a shout, that familiar ache, that insidious feeling of being fundamentally flawed, fragmented, perpetually not enough. Despite every conscious effort, every tear shed, every insight gained, that persistent, aching sense of brokenness still echoes within you, like a cracked bell refusing to ring true. It's disheartening, isn't it, to dedicate so much of your precious life to healing, only to find yourself still grappling with the very pain you sought to transcend. This isn't just a fleeting thought. It's a deep-seated identity, a silent burden carried in the very marrow of your bones. This paradox, this profound contradiction between your diligent effort and lingering discomfort, is not a sign of failure. It is not an indication that you are uniquely flawed or somehow beyond repair. On the contrary, this persistent feeling is often a profound, albeit uncomfortable invitation. An invitation from the depths of your own psyche, from the wisdom of the unconscious, to explore the layers of healing that lie beyond mere repair, beyond the surface wounds. Today, we will embark on a journey into the hidden chambers of this persistent brokenness. We will explore why our conscious efforts, however noble and necessary, can sometimes miss the deeper truth, and how the profound insights of Carl Jung and the wisdom of the unconscious can illuminate a path towards a more radical, more encompassing form of wholeness. We're not here to fix you, because you are not broken in the way you might believe. We are here to uncover the inherent wholeness that has always resided within you, often obscured by the very process of attempting to mend what was never truly shattered. Let's begin where most healing journeys truly start, with the pain, the breakdown. It's the moment when the carefully constructed facade, the persona we present to the world, can no longer hold the immense pressure of our inner suffering. For some, it's a sudden, cataclysmic event, a betrayal, a loss, a profound trauma that shatters the very foundation of their reality. For others, it's a slow, insidious erosion, a creeping emptiness that gradually hollows them out until they feel like a ghost in their own life. This pain isn't abstract. It manifests. It's the constant, low hum of anxiety that never quite dissipates, even in moments of calm. It's the tightening knot in your stomach before a social gathering, the paralyzing fear of judgment that whispers, "You're not good enough." It's the desperate need for external validation, the constant yearning for someone or something outside yourself to fill an inexplicable void within. It's the cycle of self-sabotage, the inexplicable resistance to joy, the inability to truly trust peace when it arrives. Many of us grew up with an unacknowledged deficit. Perhaps our early environments lacked consistent emotional attunement, leaving an inner child feeling unheard, unseen, or unsafe. Perhaps we were taught, implicitly or explicitly, that certain emotions, anger, sadness, fear, were unacceptable, dangerous, or weak. So we learned to suppress them, to push them into the furthest corners of our unconscious, creating what Jung called the shadow. This initial act of repression, of disowning parts of ourselves to survive, is often the genesis of that deep-seated feeling of fragmentation. We learn to live with a carefully constructed persona, a mask of capability, cheerfulness, or resilience, while beneath it, the original wound festers, largely untouched. Consider the story of a woman. Let's call her Anya. Anya carried a deep, unnamed ache from childhood, a feeling of being an outsider, never quite belonging. This pain solidified into a belief: I am fundamentally unlovable. To cope, Anya developed a formidable persona. She was the independent, high-achieving, perfectly composed professional. She excelled in her career, maintained a charming social circle, and always appeared to have it all together. But privately, the mask was heavy. Her heart felt like a fragile glass sculpture, perpetually on the verge of shattering. Every slight criticism, every perceived rejection, sent tremors through her carefully constructed world. This constant vigilance, this relentless effort to maintain the persona and conceal the underlying pain, consumes immense psychic energy. It's like living with a broken bone that you constantly try to hide. Rather than allowing it to heal, the pain becomes not just the wound itself, but the effort of concealing it. We become masters of emotional camouflage, adept at redirecting conversations, feigning indifference, or overcompensating with excessive cheerfulness. The insidious nature of this initial pain is that it often feels like an identity, a fundamental truth about who we are. I am broken, we tell ourselves. Not, I feel broken because something happened. This self-identification with the wound solidifies over time, becoming a lens through which we view the entire world and, more importantly, ourselves. Every interaction, every challenge, every moment of perceived inadequacy reinforces this deeply ingrained narrative. And then, the breakdown. For Anya, it was a sudden, overwhelming wave of panic that struck her in the middle of a perfectly ordinary day. The carefully maintained composure crumbled. The mask slipped. In that moment of utter vulnerability, she could no longer deny the profound distress that had been quietly festering beneath the surface for decades. This breakdown, however terrifying, is often the psyche's desperate cry for attention, a primal scream from the unconscious mind demanding that we finally turn inwards, beyond the superficial layers of our persona, and confront the truth of our suffering. It's the initial step on the path, painful and disorienting, but absolutely necessary. It is the first moment the light of consciousness begins to penetrate the darkness of what has been disowned. It is the beginning of the search. Once the pain breaks through, we enter the phase of the search. The breakdown becomes a catalyst, propelling us onto a healing path. We are desperate for relief, for understanding, for a way to put the pieces back together. This is where most of us begin to actively engage with therapeutic modalities, spiritual practices, and self-help teachings. We embrace meditation, hoping to quiet the incessant chatter of the mind. We delve into journaling, mapping out our past, trying to connect the dots between early experiences and present suffering. We try cognitive behavioral therapy, challenging negative thought patterns. We explore inner child work, visualizing and nurturing the younger, wounded aspects of ourselves. We attend workshops, read countless books, listen to podcasts, and seek guidance from various teachers and gurus. There's initial hope. Oh, the intoxicating sweetness of initial relief. For Anya, therapy provided a profound sense of validation. She finally understood the origins of her fear of abandonment, the roots of her people-pleasing tendencies. Through inner child visualization, she felt a fleeting connection to the scared little girl within. Offering comfort, feeling moments of genuine peace, she practiced mindfulness, found temporary respite from the anxieties that had plagued her. Each insight, each moment of emotional release, felt like a small victory, a piece of the shattered mirror being carefully reattached. I'm healing, she would tell herself. I'm finally becoming whole. But then the spiral, that familiar ache returns. The insights fade, the peace proves ephemeral. Despite all the knowledge accumulated, all the techniques mastered, the underlying feeling of brokenness persists. It's like a phantom limb pain. The wound appears to be gone, but the sensation remains, a dull throb in the background of your consciousness. You find yourself back in old patterns, reacting disproportionately to minor triggers, slipping back into self-criticism, or feeling that emptiness return with renewed force. This is the frustrating, often agonizing experience of the healing spiral. You ascend, gain perspective, feel better, only to find yourself descending again, revisiting old themes, old pains, old beliefs. And with each descent, the self-doubt amplifies. Why isn't this working? Am I doing something wrong? Am I truly unfixable? This self-blame is often the most corrosive aspect of the spiral, feeding the very feeling of brokenness you're trying to escape. Here the ego plays a significant role. The ego, our conscious sense of self, is a master organizer. It loves control, predictability, and a linear progression. When we embark on healing, the ego wants a clear roadmap. Identify the problem, apply the solution, achieve the desired outcome. A perfectly healed state, a return to an imagined, pristine wholeness. It wants to fix the broken pieces, to mend the cracks so perfectly that they are invisible, erased from existence. It seeks certainty, closure, and a definitive end to suffering. But the psyche, in its profound complexity, doesn't operate like a machine. It's an organic, living system, far more akin to a wild garden than a perfectly engineered structure. The ego's desire to smooth over every imperfection, to banish every uncomfortable feeling, to transcend every difficulty, ironically creates resistance to the very process of authentic transformation. It treats the symptoms, but often avoids the deeper, more unsettling roots. The spiral often represents the psyche's gentle, or sometimes forceful, insistence that we look beyond the conscious ego's limited perception of healing. It's a call to descend into the very discomfort we've been trying to bypass or eliminate. It's an invitation to recognize that true healing isn't about eradicating every trace of pain, but about integrating it into the tapestry of who you are. The feeling of brokenness might be the unconscious mind's way of saying, There's still something here, something unacknowledged, something vital, that the ego has overlooked in its rush to be whole. It's a silent, persistent signal that the search for mere repair must evolve into a journey of profound integration. The path isn't broken. Our understanding of the path, perhaps, needs to expand. This enduring sense of brokenness, despite years of sincere effort, is not a punishment. It is, in fact, a profound awakening. It's the moment the mind, exhausted by its relentless search for an external cure, finally turns inward, not just to examine conscious wounds, but to explore the vast, uncharted territories of the unconscious mind. This is where the wisdom of Carl Jung becomes truly indispensable, guiding us into the realm of the shadow. For Jung, the shadow is not simply the dark side of human nature, our anger, greed, envy, or cruelty. While it certainly encompasses these disowned aspects we deem unacceptable, it is far more expansive. The shadow also holds our untapped potential, our creativity, our authentic wildness, our raw instinctual power, our vulnerability, even our joy, anything that didn't fit into the persona we constructed for survival. These are parts of ourselves that we, often unconsciously, exiled because they were deemed bad, weak, unlovable, or simply not in alignment with who we thought we should be. The persistent feeling of brokenness often stems from these unintegrated shadow aspects. We try to heal around them or suppress them even further, rather than truly acknowledging and integrating them. Imagine you are trying to build a beautiful, harmonious home, but you've walled off certain rooms, convinced they are too messy, too dark, or too shameful to be part of the whole. You might clean and decorate the visible rooms, but the walled-off sections still exist, silently influencing the structure, perhaps even creating a subtle, inexplicable chill in the air, a feeling of incompleteness. The broken feeling is often the yearning of these exiled parts for recognition, for acceptance, for integration. They are not trying to hurt you. They are trying to be seen, heard, and welcomed back into the totality of your being. Let's revisit Anya. Despite years of therapy, she still felt a deep fear of confrontation, a desire to avoid any ripple in relationships. This manifested as passive-aggressive tendencies and an underlying current of resentment that made her feel broken and dishonest. Through dream analysis, a Jungian therapist suggested she explore her relationship with anger. Anya had always seen anger as destructive, something to be suppressed. It was firmly part of her shadow. When she finally dared to engage with this exiled emotion, not as a destructive force, but as an energetic signal, she realized it wasn't just rage. It was her denied assertiveness, her violated boundaries, her powerful life force that had been suppressed for decades. Her brokenness was this unacknowledged power, trying desperately to be integrated. By creating space for her anger, understanding its protective intent, and learning to express it constructively, the profound sense of fragmentation began to dissipate. She wasn't fixing a flaw. She was reclaiming a vital aspect of herself. One of the most powerful ways the shadow reveals itself is through projection. We often see our own disowned qualities, both positive and negative, in others. If you constantly feel judgmental towards someone else's perceived weakness, it might be your own unacknowledged vulnerability. If you're intensely annoyed by someone's arrogance, it might be your own suppressed desire for recognition or power. When we project our shadow, we are not seeing the other person clearly. We are seeing a reflection of our own internal landscape. And crucially, if we feel broken, we might project that brokenness onto the world, seeing flaws and imperfections everywhere, which then reinforces our own internal narrative. The shadow also connects deeply to the inner child. Often, the pain of our inner child, the trauma it experienced, the needs that were unmet, become integral parts of our shadow. We push away the vulnerable, needy, or angry child within, believing it's too much to bear, too messy to integrate. But this child doesn't disappear. It continues to operate from the unconscious, often manifesting as self-sabotage, self-criticism, or that nagging feeling of not enough. Healing the inner child from a Jungian perspective isn't about fixing it, but about becoming the conscious, compassionate parent it always needed, bringing its experiences into awareness, and integrating its wisdom and innocence back into the adult self. This phase of awakening is often uncomfortable. It requires immense courage to consciously turn towards what we've spent a lifetime avoiding. It's like stepping into a dimly lit room and allowing your eyes to adjust, slowly discerning shapes and forms that were previously hidden in the darkness. But this is where true healing begins. Not by eliminating the darkness, but by bringing the light of consciousness to all parts of ourselves. Understanding that wholeness encompasses both light and shadow. The feeling of brokenness is often the very signal that these disowned parts are ready to come home, to be acknowledged and integrated into the totality of your being. It's a call from your truest self to embrace everything that you are. This brings us to the profound internal shift, where the understanding of brokenness transforms from a static identity to a dynamic, essential part of the individuation process. This is where Jung's insights truly illuminate the path beyond simple repair to radical acceptance and integration. The most crucial Jungian concept here is that of individuation. It is not a goal to be achieved, like solving a puzzle, but a lifelong journey of becoming the unique, whole individual you were always meant to be. It's the process by which a person becomes a psychological individual, that is, a separate, indivisible unity or whole. And critically, this journey does not imply becoming perfect or flawless. On the contrary, it involves a profound encounter with imperfection, with the shadow, and with the very wounds that have shaped us. The feeling of brokenness isn't a sign that your individuation has failed. It's often a powerful catalyst for it. It's the ego's carefully constructed world being shaken, forcing it to surrender its illusion of control and open to the vaster, more complex reality of the self. Jung spoke extensively about the self, not the ego, our conscious I, but the totality of the psyche, conscious and unconscious, the regulating center, the archetype of wholeness. The self is our innate potential for wholeness, the divine spark within. From the perspective of the self, you are never broken. You are inherently, eternally whole. The feeling of brokenness is the ego's perception, a veil woven from past experiences, projections, and the disowned fragments of the shadow. It is the ego's misinterpretation of the self's innate perfection. The journey isn't about becoming whole. It's about realizing you already are, and allowing that inherent wholeness to shine through the layers of acquired beliefs and conditioning. This is the radical shift, from trying to fix the perceived brokenness to integrating it. Think of the ancient Japanese art of kintsugi. When a precious ceramic piece breaks, it's not discarded. Instead, it's mended with a special lacquer dusted with powdered gold. The philosophy isn't to hide the break, but to illuminate it, to treat the fracture as part of the object's unique history and beauty. The repaired piece becomes more beautiful, more valuable, precisely because of its journey through breakage and repair. Your brokenness is not a flaw to be eradicated. It is the unique golden seam running through the tapestry of your life. It is the signature of your resilience, the testament to your capacity for survival and transformation. It is the place where a unique kind of light can enter and exit you. Jung drew heavily on the symbolism of alchemy to describe the process of psychological transformation. The alchemists sought to transform base metals into gold. But Jung saw this as a profound metaphor for the soul's journey. The feeling of brokenness is often the negrito stage, the blackening, the dissolution, the chaos, the dark night of the soul. It's the old self breaking down, dissolving into its fundamental elements. This stage is messy, painful, disorienting. Many get stuck here, resisting this essential decomposition, desperately trying to reassemble the old, familiar pieces. But the negrito is necessary. Without it, the subsequent stages of albedo, whitening, purification, clarity emerging from chaos, and rubedo, reddening, the union of opposites, the fiery integration leading to new life and wholeness, cannot occur. If you still feel broken, perhaps you are still deeply immersed in your negrito, or resisting its necessary surrender. You are not a failure. You are in the sacred crucible of transformation. Your feeling of fragmentation is the very friction that allows for the creation of something far more precious and enduring than your original, unbroken state. If you're intensely annoyed by someone's arrogance, it might be your own suppressed desire for recognition or power. When we project our shadow, we are not seeing the other person clearly. We are seeing a reflection of our own internal landscape. And crucially, if we feel broken, we might project that brokenness onto the world, seeing flaws and imperfections everywhere, which then reinforces our own internal narrative. The shadow also connects deeply to the inner child. Often, the pain of our inner child, the trauma it experienced, the needs that were unmet, become integral parts of our shadow. We push away the vulnerable, needy or angry child within, believing it's too much to bear, too messy to integrate. But this child doesn't disappear. It continues to operate from the unconscious, often manifesting as self-sabotage, self-criticism, or that nagging feeling of not enough. Healing the inner child from a Jungian perspective isn't about fixing it, but about becoming the conscious, compassionate parent it always needed, bringing its experiences into awareness, and integrating its wisdom and innocence back into the adult self. This phase of awakening is often uncomfortable. It requires immense courage to consciously turn towards what we've spent a lifetime avoiding. It's like stepping into a dimly lit room and allowing your eyes to adjust, slowly discerning shapes and forms that were previously hidden in the darkness. But this is where true healing begins. Not by eliminating the darkness, but by bringing the light of consciousness to all parts of ourselves. Understanding that wholeness encompasses both light and shadow. The feeling of brokenness is often the very signal that these disowned parts are ready to come home, to be acknowledged and integrated into the totality of your being. It's a call from your truest self to embrace everything that you are. This brings us to the profound internal shift, where the understanding of brokenness transforms from a static identity to a dynamic, essential part of the individuation process. This is where Jung's insights truly illuminate the path beyond simple repair to radical acceptance and integration. The most crucial Jungian concept here is that of individuation. It is not a goal to be achieved, like solving a puzzle, but a lifelong journey of becoming the unique, whole individual you were always meant to be. It's the process by which a person becomes a psychological individual, that is, a separate, indivisible unity or whole. And critically, this journey does not imply becoming perfect or flawless. On the contrary, it involves a profound encounter with imperfection, with the shadow, and with the very wounds that have shaped us. The feeling of brokenness isn't a sign that your individuation has failed. It's often a powerful catalyst for it. It's the ego's carefully constructed world being shaken, forcing it to surrender its illusion of control and open to the vaster. Embrace the paradox of wholeness. You are inherently whole, and you carry wounds. Both truths can exist simultaneously. This is the essence of psychological maturity, the ability to hold opposing realities without needing to resolve them into a simplistic narrative. The integration happens in the fertile, often uncomfortable, space between the paradoxes. Your wholeness is not pristine. It is complex, nuanced, and rich with the texture of your lived experience. Find purpose in the pain. How can your unique history, your specific cracks, serve your purpose and deepen your connection with the world? Perhaps your journey through deep, emotional pain has gifted you with profound empathy, allowing you to connect with others, suffering in a way that unbroken people cannot. Perhaps it has fueled your creativity, your resilience, or your unwavering compassion. Your feeling of brokenness, once integrated, becomes a unique wellspring of wisdom and strength, a testament to your human capacity for transformation. It's the place where your unique story is written, not erased. The rebirth isn't a single dramatic event, but a continuous process of gentle unfolding. It's allowing your roots to grow deeper, finding nourishment even in the darkest soil. It's trusting that your unique journey, with all its perceived imperfections, is precisely the path meant for your individuation. You are not doing it wrong if you still feel the echo of an old wound. You are simply deepening your relationship with the vast, intricate tapestry of your own being. You are learning to hold all of yourself, the golden light and the shadow, the mended cracks and the original clay, with profound love and reverence. You are not broken. You are simply on an alchemical journey, transforming the lead of your past into the unique, shimmering gold of your true self. The gold was always there, woven into the very fabric of your being, waiting to be revealed in the lines of your experience, in the sacred scars that tell your extraordinary story. Take a moment now, place a hand on your heart, breathe into that place within you that has carried the weight of feeling broken for so long, and instead of judgment, offer it tenderness. Offer it the profound understanding that the gold is already in the cracks. Thank you for walking this path with me today. If this message resonated deeply within you, if it shed even a sliver of light on your own journey, please share your reflections in the comments below. Your story, your insights, your vulnerability are invaluable gifts that illuminate the path for us all.